On the 27th of December, I started a new experiment where I selected 5 stocks and put them into a new portfolio, with the aim of making as much as I could, maybe even doubling my money within 6 or so months. Last time, in the video that I will leave linked on the screen now, I shared which stocks I was adding to this portfolio and why. But today is going to be the first check-in, the first portfolio update, and let me tell you, it is not yet going in the upward hoped direction, but I'm not concerned, and I'll tell you why. In this portfolio, which by the way is not my main one, this is purely as an experiment and for fun, I have 2 fintech companies, 2 Bitcoin mining companies, and a biotech company too. If you've watched the first video in this series, which by the way, you should totally subscribe if you want to follow and track this experiment, and if I actually end up getting enough interest, I will repeat this and do another experiment like this after this one finishes. But you'll know that I put £400 or about $509-ish into this portfolio around 11 days ago. So let's see how it's doing now. The portfolio is currently worth in total £337.99, which means a return, a loss of 61.42, which is the equivalent to 15.38%. So I have lost 15.38% since starting this experiment 11 days ago, which is obviously not fantastic, but like I said at the beginning, I'm not concerned. I'll explain why. This seems very, very explainable by what's happened in the last week or so, and I do see it changing, and I do still think this portfolio has the chance to maybe even double the amount that I put in. I won't share the exact allocation between each of these stocks in this video because I did speak about it in the first video in the series. But what you can see here is that the biggest loser since starting this portfolio so far is actually TeraWulf. And the biggest winner, if you will, even though it's still not actually a winner because it's still losing money, is PayPal. But you will see here that the 2 biggest losers, Cypher Mining and TeraWulf, are actually within the same sector. They are both Bitcoin mining companies. We knew going into this portfolio that those 2 positions, Bitcoin mining in general, crypto in general actually, does tend to be very, very volatile, and we've definitely seen that across the last 11 days or so. But why has it been that these 2 positions in particular have been more affected than the rest of the portfolio? Now, when I look at my main portfolio, which I haven't really spoken about on this channel, I speak about that on my main channel, but I know that this last week has actually been quite brutal across the entire stock market. There hasn't been that many positions that have done well. Most of my positions have actually decreased over the last week or so. But it's also clear that these 2 Bitcoin mining companies have had more of a struggle than maybe the general market. And it is very clear why this has happened. They have been affected by this week's Bitcoin ETF news. As Bitcoin itself was on Tuesday and Wednesday, I think Bitcoin actually dropped by about 7% on Wednesday. Why is this? Well, it's because a Matrix report analyst actually said that the SEC will likely reject all Bitcoin spot ETF proposals this month. But it's really weird. When you start diving into this in a little bit more detail, you find out a few important things that maybe as an investor you do want to pay attention to. Number one, the analysts that actually released that information, I don't think they any longer work for Matrixport, which is the first sort of red flag. Secondly, this information didn't come from the SEC themselves, so we can't really trust that. Thirdly, it was only about 24 hours prior that Matrixport actually hinted that there will soon be a Bitcoin spot ETF approval. So they literally changed their mind and did a 360 within 24 hours. Why? It seemed like an incredibly dumb dump of an asset, to be honest. It didn't seem to make any sense. But this, of course, affected crypto as a whole. Bitcoin went plummeting down. Loads of altcoins, one in particular that I keep an eye on, had a crazy fall. Lots of opportunity, but also this extended into crypto, into Bitcoin mining companies, like we see here with Cypher Mining and TeraWulf. It is very, very easily explainable. Do I think this is a cause for concern? Should I now quickly sell out Cypher Mining and TeraWulf and put these, save these losses before they get worse and put them into something else? I don't think so. I don't think so, because it doesn't seem like this report of the Bitcoin spot ETF being declined, refused, holds any real truth. And I do think that we will see an approval, fingers crossed, hopefully, maybe even this upcoming week. And like I explained in the first video of this series, I still think 2024 in particular will have lots of massive events for Bitcoin and therefore for the crypto sector as a whole, and therefore the Bitcoin mining companies too. Because firstly, the Bitcoin ETF might get approved. That should increase demand incredibly. Then we have the Bitcoin halving event, which is expected early this year, which then means the supply reduces. So hang on a minute, we've got demand going up, supply coming down. What does that do to the price of any asset? It increases it. Then we've got maybe the Fed and other economies around the world actually reducing rates, reducing interest rates. What does that do? Well, that increases liquidity. That gives more liquidity. And then we've got maybe the crypto bull run happening after the halving event. It is all aligned. So it's safe to say, yes, I absolutely want exposure to a Bitcoin mining company in this portfolio. Of course, this is just little money. This is not going to be generational wealth. This is not going to be changing my life, but it is a fun experiment and I'm taking it seriously. You know, I do want exposure to a Bitcoin mining company because of all the things that I've just laid out. Having said that though, I do see TeraWulf, ticker symbol WULF, as being one of the more risky bets in this portfolio for sure. I do think it is one of the, the smaller Bitcoin mining companies that does have a little bit more risk attached to it. And I probably wouldn't put it in my main portfolio over maybe putting, Cypher Mining, Bitfarm, Mara, like there's other ones that I would rather have in my main portfolio, but I wanted to take a little bit more of a risk with this because this is money that I could lose and I do still see the upside potentially being there for this one. So what I'm thinking I might do in this portfolio is actually give it some time because I still think that I will make money on this position. Give it some time, but then maybe when it gets profitable, I might sell out of TeraWulf and actually cycle that money back into Cypher Mining. Maybe I'll open a different Bitcoin mining position in here, or maybe I'll even put it into PayPal or a new position like SoFi. But I'm not doing that just yet and I will keep an eye, but let me know what you think about that plan in the comments below. Now let's just take a look at PayPal here. PayPal is the biggest position in this portfolio and it actually isn't doing all that bad right now. Average price is $62.53 shares in this portfolio and the current price is $60.12 per share. So I'm down, but not that much. The reason it's the largest position in this portfolio is just simply that I am the most bullish on this right now. That is because I see it as having the best risk versus reward ratio. PayPal definitely have some execution risks, and as investors, we need to see them sort of move through that. However, I definitely think that they are starting to grow and they are moving in the right direction. 2024 with the macro could potentially be quite a big year for them. And I was quite surprised to actually see them hold up a little bit more last week compared to other companies. They did pretty well. But why is this such a big position in this portfolio compared to the other stocks I have? It is because of many things. Their total payment volume is growing, which indicates healthy transaction activity. And both domestic and international payments are increasing. These are all good signs. Their management team, which has undergone a lot of changes recently, is constantly making strategic changes to better their business model. And I really like to see this because it's clear that PayPal recently haven't been doing that well, but they are making changes. It would be way more concerning if they weren't doing anything big, drastic to actually change the direction of their future company. Isn't it a saying that insanity is the definition of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results? And luckily, as a PayPal investor now, they aren't doing that. And then we have the PayPal stablecoin to further deepen the user integration into their ecosystem. It represents a new revenue stream for them and actually a massive growth opportunity. It helps them facilitate international transfers and cryptocurrency trading. And with the macro easing, relieving pressure from companies like PayPal, I do think 2024 could really be their year. And then we've got Robinhood, ticker symbol HOOD, which is down by just over 8% since opening the portfolio. I still have the belief that there are a lot of strong aligned catalysts for Robinhood moving into 2024, and one bad week across the whole market is not changing my opinion on that. They've got their X1 credit card that actually came through by a $95 million acquisition that happened in June. They've got their UK investing platform that comes out anytime now. And recently, they've also expanded their cryptocurrency platform within the European markets. So lots of big moves happening. And then we have to feed in what is going in the bigger world into this, interest rates, all these things I keep speaking about, which companies, which sectors are going to really do well if in this new environment, if it happens. Well, it's going to be some of them fintech companies, Bitcoin mining because of all the crypto. This is why my portfolio is aligned the way it is. I'm going to be aiming to give a portfolio update about every week or so, and we never know. Next week could be completely different for this portfolio, especially if we get that Bitcoin spot ETF approval announcement. If you want to become part of a free inner circle, then join over 300 other investors and sign up for my weekly newsletter and gain valuable insights. It's really easy to do so. You can unsubscribe at any time, completely free. I'll leave a link in the description below. Until next time, keep analysing, keep investing, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.